Here's a petty revenge story. It's titled, I Torpedoed a Guy's Entire Career Because He Was a Bully. I know I'm something of a nepo baby, but it is what it is. My mom is incredibly successful in a very niche but very lucrative field of business. This allows my dad to be a stay-at-home dad and for me and my siblings to get a good education. When I graduated from college, I decided to go into the same field as my mom. While I love her and our relationship is good, I very much did not want to only be viewed as her kid or receive special treatment due to how well regarded she is. So I used my dad's last name and generally keep who my mom is to myself. I also avoided coming to work for her. In my field and country, it is generally accepted that people are hired for a trial period, at the end of which either the employee or employer can cut ties with no fines or compensations required. So anyways, I went to work at one company. Again, I'll remind you, very niche market, very few employment opportunities. I went in for my trial period and everyone seemed pretty happy with me. I put out some fires and one boss describes me as a workhorse because I'm first to the office, last out the door. It goes pretty well, except for one colleague in my team. This dude is a huge jerk. I'm a bit of a people pleaser and try to be on good terms with everyone, but jerk will have none of it. Dude is incredibly rude. He keeps being very confrontational. Like if a colleague, not just me, was getting any sort of acknowledgement, jerk would belittle them and their accomplishment. If someone was saying they had a rough time with something, jerk would pop up going, oh yeah, I did that a while back, it was super easy. Whenever someone tried talking about future plans with me, jerk would go, oh yeah, we'll see about that. He also apparently says some very unkind things about my appearance and masculinity, but those at least he had the decency to say behind my back, I suppose, and I only learned about them later. Like, dude was incredibly mean for apparently no reason except trying to make himself look better by making everyone else look worse. This one thing wasn't true to me specifically because I'm male, but his meanness seemed to apply especially to women. A few comments were about how working in this field isn't for moms and they should be raising kids or whatever, and some other very bad stuff. But management seemed pretty content keeping him around because apparently he was a pretty good worker and they liked that he was ambitious. Fine. My trial period ends. I am offered a permanent position, but decide this is not the place for me, as I don't love being anyone's workhorse and have very low interest in sticking around in jerk's vicinity. I respectfully inform them I will not be sticking around and go find work elsewhere. On my last day, I come to say goodbye. Management says they're sorry to see me go. Colleagues wish me well and say they're gonna miss me. Jerk says, ha! Told you OP wasn't gonna stick around. Good riddance. Now this fuel isn't for you either. Very loudly. I leave. I'm not very confrontational and I don't have to deal with him anymore anyway, so I just go. Some time goes by. I am now employed elsewhere. I'm happy and doing well. I love my work and my colleagues. I've been promoted and I don't really think about jerk anymore, except apparently there's a relative influx of applicants from jerk's company. Relative because, again, very niche market. Whatever. My boss knows I did a trial period over there, so whenever an applicant comes up, he asks me about my experience with them. There are very few people I dislike, so when asked, I usually give my honest opinion, which is usually very positive. But guess whose application we suddenly receive? It's jerk. My boss asked for my opinion and I said, look, I have personal feelings about this person and I can't be objective. Boss, knowing just how positive I usually am about basically everyone, asked me what's up and eventually I tell him. I tell him everything. Jerk obviously doesn't get hired. I assume that's the end of that. Few days later, we have family dinner. My mom goes, "Wait, you had a trial period at that company, right? Do you know Jerk?" Well, my mom knew there was a person I really didn't get along with at that company and the crappy things they did. I tell her it was him. Obviously, she isn't going to hire him either, especially given his views on women. So my company ends up hiring one of Jerk's company's former employees. Me and her are on great terms, and this is how I discover what happened there. Jerk got promoted, and that made a bunch of people want to leave. This caused management to look into why and why strong applicants were leaving after their trial period was over. Turns out it was Jerk. Someone had a talk with him, and from what I gather, he was not receptive to criticism. He was let go. This is when he applied to the company I work for and to my mom's. From what I understand, he no longer works in our field. There are, as I mentioned, not many employers around. But unfortunately, I have no idea what he does. We'll update if I find out. Let's see what the comment section have to say. First comment says, "That was satisfying. Dude made his bed and now has to sleep in it. Pity management enabled him for so long." Another commenter says, "OP didn't do anything to torpedo his career. His input only denied him getting a job at his workplace. Jerk torpedoed his own career by being who he is. Jerk torpedoed his own career by being an a-hole." This is why you should be nice to everyone, or at least be a decent human being to everyone, because you never know when you might need their help or when you might run into them again. Obviously, Jerk hopefully learned his lesson, but given his personality, probably not. And good for OP for leaving such a toxic workplace. Do you guys think that the OP really torpedoed Jerk's career forever? Or do you think Jerk did it to himself? I personally think that Jerk brought it on to himself. He should have been professional and not be such a bully. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. And remember, if you like these types of stories, continue to like and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later.